gonna go from the desert dessert burrito to one of the largest fish markets in I think the world in Seattle with the Seattle Seahawks, who a year ago there was some high hopes. Geno Smith coming off a Pro Bowl year, they draft Jackson Smith-Njigba in hopes of a connection, really solidify this team, and they draft Deval Witherspoon, who was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate till the very end for them. Falling a half a game short out of the playoffs, the Packers beat them out due to tiebreakers and all that stuff. And, well, here we are, a new year, and it's a very odd year. And I'm going to pull us out. Last week, I did mention the Titans, and I said, I don't know where to put the Titans. And I said there was another team where I don't know where to place them. And it's the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know where to place them because Pete Caroll, he got forced out. He's moved upstairs. They bring in Mike Macdonald from Baltimore. And I don't know where to really put this team now. If Pete Caroll was the coach, I say they're fighting for a playoff spot, but now I don't know with Mike Macdonald.
So, Will, last year, I was very high on Seattle,
the defense,
dethroning the Niners as the winner of the division.
Yes.
I'm not that high on them this year, but I do think they are a very good team with Mike Macdonald. That remember when Fangio came through the league with like this when he was like the big deal and everybody
Bears D coordinator. Yeah.
That's what Mike Macdonald's starting to do. Okay. Everybody's starting to copy him. He's the guy right now when it comes to defenses.
Because I said, the Ravens defense is really fierce his first year, and I got, the doors blown off, and I had everyone laughing in my face because they were letting up 15-point comebacks every week. But
like, he might actually take like my hype from Witherspoon for his rookie of the year into an actual defensive player of the year, even though corners don't win it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think this actually is a rounded team. I mean, let's take a look. The offense is still kind of stacked. Like,
they bring in Laken Tomlinson to help solidify at the guard position due to them losing a guard to the Titans, I believe we talked about last week. They lost Damian Lewis, who went to the Titans, so that was one of them. They make a trade for Sam Howell, who's not been having the strongest camp, but Geno Smith is going to be your guy this year, at least, unless something goes wrong. And you have Howell, PJ Walker in the back. The offensive line's still there. Abraham Lucas, whenever he gets off the PUP, he will come back and be, one of those physical players. Charles Cross, we know he is a really good left tackle. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. It's going to be interesting how they split that backfield because Charbonnet got a lot more touches at the end of the year than Walker did.
Walker was hurt for a little bit.
Walker was hurt in the middle of the year, right? So then,
they kind of let the gas off of Walker and they kind of shifted it to Charbonnet and said, hey, let's kind of push this thing.
I see Kenneth Walker, though, to start the year was phenomenal. And I think he had at least a touchdown every single game. And he was
right. Game we were at. Or did he?
I want to say.
I think he did.
No, he was down by contact.
Oh, right.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way,
you think I remember a lot from that game?
Yeah,
I remember the Witherspoon pick. I remember that as a touchdown.
Yeah. But nonetheless, I mean, you have the trio at wide receiver. Geno can still hold down his own. He's now with this team for the third year as a starter.
Yeah, he's been there since 2018, so he's been there for 2019. He's been there for, a while.
This is third year starting.
Yeah, he's been throwing to these guys, and this trio is fantastic. It's only going to get better, I'm sure. And then Kenneth Walker. I mean, if this offense stays healthy like this, I mean, I think it's a very good team. I think they can improve from their 9-8 schedule or record last year. So
especially since they have the guy from Washington University as their coordinator now, which will be weird because I don't know how well his system's going to translate to the actual NFL because there was a lot of it was really dependent on the hashes being wider in college.
Interesting.
But if it does, I mean, he's definitely an innovative offensive coach. If it does, I mean, this team could actually be the team we expected them to be last year.
Yeah. What do you say, Colton?
I don't know. I'm not as high on Seattle as a lot of you guys are. Again, the weapons are definitely there for Geno to succeed, but I'm also haven't been on the Geno wagon for a long time. So that's kind of my point. I think Seattle's going to have another like 9-win season, 8-win season, and it's going to be like, okay, we got to move off of Geno Smith and like try to take a bigger step at quarterback. I think that's kind of what this team is.
I mean, probably. I'm not the biggest Geno guy. I'm putting some kind of leap of faith on the coordinator, but eventually they're going to have to get somebody who's better than Geno if they want to really make that step over the Niners.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go to defense.
So on defense, I think it's the official say of the Legion of Boom's over. They have a loss in Bobby Wagner, who did not resign. He goes to Washington. He's now a commander, with joining Dan Quinn, who was his former DC back in those Legion of Boom days. So it's a sad way of saying it's over. But a lot of youth, a lot of new coming uprising here for the Seahawks, especially with Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen. They cut Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs on the same day. They both reunite in Tennessee, which is kind of a funny thing to think about, that, you know, they're kind of following each other. They do make the additions of Jerome Baker from the Dolphins, Tyrell Dodson. I believe he was somewhere in the AFC North. I'm not too sure. Rayshon Jenkins, who was at Jacksonville Jaguars, and Kayvon Wallace. They make those moves. They get Byron Murphy out of Texas, big guy. Don't get in his way. They bring in Jonathan Hankins. I mean there is still a lot of good stuff on this defense.
You said that the old Legion of Boom's done, but building off again the episode from last year, like the new Legion of Boom's coming back. Like,
in the first year of the Legion of Boom, it wasn't good. Like, they won some games that, you know, were pretty critical back in, 2012. So they got a lot of room to build off of this, the movement that they have. So,
I mean, I really don't mind it.
I'm so high on Macdonald as a defensive coach, and it doesn't even matter who his coordinator is. So, I mean, especially what he can do with a guy like Byron Murphy, Witherspoon, and Reek Woolen. This could be really fun to watch as a defense.
Colton?
At the end of the day, it's an offensive league. It's kind of where I'm at.
Ravens made the playoffs because of the defense. Lamar was not spectacular last year.
I don't know about that. I thought that was the only time I've ever admitted Lamar I thought was pretty good. I can't find where the Seahawks were rated last year as far as defense.
Defense, they were at least, I don't know. I would have to think they were like in the middle of the pack. I know they kind of...
Yeah, they were probably middle because their passing defense was not good.
They were 20th.
Yeah.
No, wait, sorry. 30th. Okay, so never mind.
Say they gave up a ton of points.
I mean, Tariq Woolen was benched like 3 separate times last year. He was getting cooked the entire year.
Wow.
So, like...
I felt like they weren't that bad, but maybe, I don't know.
It's an offensive league, man. That's what it comes down to. The defense is great and all. The Steelers have had an elite defense over the years. You have to put up freaking points in this league. So that's what it comes down to. They got the weapons to do it. Can Geno do it? That's what I see out of Seattle.
Geno's also better than Pickett, but...
Hey, man, don't talk about your backup QB like that. But, yeah, again, let's not act like Geno's a top 10 QB. It's an offensive league. He's probably the 4th best quarterback in the division, 3rd best quarterback in the division. Let's be real here. That's not a good place to be as a team.
The receiving
better than Stafford. You might have a toss-up of Kyler, and he's definitely not better right now than Brock Purdy. So that's not really a great place to be in if you're Seattle.
I do like the receiving core. I mean, we know this receiving core gets stuff done. Well, DK, though, had issues last year, and that was a part of it as well.
Let's move to the schedule here. And I hope the schedule is a little bit easier to read for everyone. But so the dark blue is home, and the white is away. So it's just kind of how did they land 4 consecutive games in a row at home?
Because then they got 3 consecutive a bye and then another away game.
Yeah,
how do you find this? Like, No, you got 4 if you want to count it. You have 4 at home, and then you don't want to count the bye. You got 4 on the road consecutively. Imagine that. Like, you don't get to go to a Seahawks game for like 6 weeks. You go from mid-October to Thanksgiving till you get to go to a Lumen Field again.
That's kind of wild, bro. Wow.
Oh, man.
Why?
I still think it's a 9-win team, 10-win team.
Why does this schedule feel easier than Arizona's? What?
Well, I mean, they kind of have a better roster than Arizona has. So.
Yeah, but even then, geez, one.
I don't think it's that much easier. That's that. I mean, geez, the first few weeks, what, 2 wins?
9 or
2
10.
wins? You got they got New England too. They got to start off the season well. If they don't start the season off well, they're going to be in trouble.
They might just get cooked with that away / bye week away schedule, like time frame.
Yeah, they may not win a game there.
It's so weird. So weird. And those are also not easy. And you have back-to-back. I mean, you have a bye in between.
You play Chicago late in the season, so if Caleb Williams has his feet, planted, ready to rock and roll, Caleb Williams by them, not rookie Caleb Williams. Yeah, they do not have an easy.
They better
last 10 weeks.
Oh, I read this so wrong. So I think the white is what's being aired on their Fox station in Seattle. I don't even know how you're supposed to even determine like.
Bro, what?
Bro.
Yeah,
I thought that I saw. Oh, hey, the Patriots one's white. Like, oh, that's the away thing. I wasn't even reading this correctly.
You're awful.
So you got to go to Detroit, which you get to play in a dome. That's pretty nice, but it's still early.
Can we have a conversation about picking the schedules that we put up there?
Hey, man, sometimes.
I watched Dom do some of these.
Wait, no, this schedule. This is the only schedule available for the Seahawks. Period. The rest were not schedules. They were just who's our opponents, and that's it. With like a montage of the opponents on there. They were not an actual schedule. This was the only schedule I could find for the Seattle Seahawks for 2024. Period. Their 2023 ones were a lot better looking. So, I mean, it is what it is. We're at the mercy of – it's part of the fun.
No,
I hate fun.
Yeah, because some of the teams have just the worst designs, and then we're like –
all right, well, get me the guy. All right, come on. Let's wrap up these ding-dongs and this Seattle team that I can't wait to recap midway through the season and call Jake out. Jake, Seattle? Really?
No, they're a 9-win team.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
That's great. Congratulations. That barely sneaks in the wild card spot, if that's anything. That's purgatory. I don't know if that's really a great place to be.
I just think I think they could be something. They're getting there.
It's very dependent on coaching because this is obviously a coaching change, one of the many this season. So, I mean, you never know.
I'm high on who they brought in, and that may not play out this exact season, but